We are back in the black hole of real estate, and I'm reading some really interesting comments about the Fed, and I want to share you my 2 cents, and this has nothing to do with interest rates. It has more to do with the makeup of the Fed and what's going on behind the scenes right now. This is your host, Ron Wojciechowski, for the black hole of real estate, and right now, there's 12 members at the Fed. So for those of you that want to spell it out, Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC. And right now, there's some chatter, that the president's going to fire the head of the Fed. So Jerome Powell, he's the chair. He is under fire. There's no question, because he's holding, he's leading the group that's holding rates where they are, not dropping rates. And there's a huge segment of the population that wants lower rates because it will borrow the cost of debt. It will lower it. So if you have a loan and you can refinance it or get new financing and it's a lower rate, it would be less costly. And that might help get people or a country out of debt, so to speak. If you had a 25% interest rate and could cut it down to 5%, that might be attractive to some people. For some people, cutting it from 7 to 6 is a good deal. So it depends on what your situation is. But right now, the overnight window, the Fed rate, is something that the president is absolutely pounding on the Fed almost daily. Hey, just drop the rate, drop the rate. Well, the interesting thing right now is people are saying, well, maybe the president will fire Powell. Okay. I guess it could happen. I don't think it would happen for a lot of reasons. Interestingly enough, I think that what will happen is they probably will name the incoming Fed chair, the one that's going to be appointed for next year, which might weaken in some ways the current Fed leadership, only because, the new guy's coming in town, the new sheriff's coming in town. But wait, there's 12 members, which I mentioned, that vote on policy. And right now, the estimated number is 7 out of 12 that don't think rates are going to change, or not signaling rates are going to change anytime soon. We've been watching and waiting for a July interest rate reduction. And now the sentiment is that it may not happen now or the next time, September. So now you're like, whew, all right, we only got 4 meetings left. We're hoping for 2 rate drops. And the next one in line, July, everybody's waiting for it. And there's some thoughts that maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe they fire the Fed chief. Maybe they bring in the new guy a little earlier, or introduce him or name him earlier to put pressure out there. So now we have all this stuff in the bubbling cauldron. So which is it going to be? My suspicion, and I don't think I'm off on this, is that the market is pricing in the last couple of weeks that there would be a lower interest rate because the Fed is going to drop rates in July. And now there's some backtracking on that. Now the sentiment is kind of in the middle. Well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. So if the Fed is pricing in the anticipated drop of the Fed rate at the end of July, and the Fed chooses not to drop rates at the end of July, what is likely to happen with interest rates? They will likely go up a little bit back to where they were around the 1st of July because they were pricing it in. So this is where you get it twisted for a minute. So if the price of interest, cost of interest, the rate of interest was a number on July 1st, and it was the same number on July 31st, some would say the rates are unchanged. But if the rates were to go down first and second week of July, anticipating a drop that never happens, and then trickle back upwards to where it was in the beginning, it's just the same rate to me. It's neutral. Now, you could suggest the rates went up, but in order for them to go up, they went down first, then they went up. And I think that's what's going on right now. So it gets very, very tricky depending on what you're reading online and, which website, and, they all probably have some sort of a slant to them to one political faction or another. So, that's the world we live in. I don't know that there's a neutral website or financial thing. And if there is, great. Maybe we should all read that one, like play it down the middle. But my suspicion is, depending on the agenda, you'll get some twisted news. I would just tell you to get your news from places that you trust. And don't rely on other people to tell you what to believe or trust or do. Just choose your own. But my guess is that the Fed rate may just not change. And I would like it to. I think it would be a step in the right direction, personally speaking. I think it would spur the market. But I am working with the people in my real estate space that are selling property right now, and I've advised all of them to hold on their pricing and not worry about further reductions, because the market is cooled right now that a price reduction isn't necessarily going to create more interest right now. It's the property. It's the motivation and willingness of a buyer to come and look at it. See, if the showing counts are off a little bit, and I know they're trending up a little bit right now, but that could change month to month. But when we start to see more ratified contracts, that's a trigger and a sign like, okay, you know what? More people are going under contract and we are not. That's a trigger that they're choosing other properties. The buyers are telling you that you do not have alignment on price and condition. You're overpriced. But hanging on to the price that you have right now for sellers isn't a bad idea, given the market we're in. And for the buyers, they're pausing, which is a good idea to see what direction the market goes. But here's a funny thing, and I like funny things. Everybody keeps saying that when interest rates go down, the market's going to surge forward. Fair. You can have that opinion. It's yours. I've also seen where rates start to go up and the market surges forward. Because somebody might be thinking, if the rates go down, oh, hey, the rates are finally cheap enough, I can go buy. Well, if the rates start going up, like could be like it's in the summer, rates are going up, I better buy before they get any higher. But the weird one, and again, this is funny, if rates don't change, what would they do? I think it actually might spur the market. Now, stay with me on this. If half the people are expecting to go up and half are expecting to go down, well, what if it stays the same? It could very well be that, I waited all summer to buy a home. I was waiting for the rates to go down, and they didn't. And I have to buy. I'm going to take the going rate right now, and if I need to refinance down the road, I'll do it. And a seller might be saying to themselves, I've been waiting for rates to go down for a better time to sell and the market to kick in, but hey, it's end of July. I need to sell over the next couple of months because I got to get out in my life. So I believe that sometimes the thing that you're waiting for to happen in order to move forward doesn't happen, causes you to move forward. I'll say that again. You're waiting for something to happen in order to move forward, but it doesn't happen, but you move forward anyways. And I think that's where we're at. I think the pent-up demand and the people holding off from selling, I think they've had it. And at some point, you make the move. And let's face it, the most likely people to move are upsizing or downsizing, kids going to school, kids finishing school and going to college, marriage, divorce, death, those type of things. And those happen regardless of market conditions and economics and interest rates. So I do think that you'll see something. And weirdly, when you expect, May, June, July to be really, really busy, what if it was August, September, October this year? Because that just might happen. So I'm looking for something that's going to give us direction on the market. But right now, all this Fed talk and who's going to fire who and everything, if nothing happens, the market might just move forward anyways. And that's what I got for you today. So it's kind of weird, but it might just go that way. This is your host, Ron Wojciechowski, for the Black Hole of Real Estate.